anyone know, the proper spelling of Ooga Boogaism?
Ooga
And
Boogaism.
you use it so much, I wanna make sure that I had it right in my notes.
OOGABOOISM. Ooga Boogaism.
Thank you for clearing that up. That's a burning question.
Splendid. Someone just came on.
Yeah, Demetrius Seattle.
Uhuru, come in, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hey, you sound like it all the time.
Yeah, no, well, today I can take credit for it.
Anybody else?
Please. New app.
Okay.
Uhuru.
Gaida Bakri.
Gaida and Bakri.
All right, Jim.
Uhuru, come in, Uhuru.
Osman.
Come in, Olivia.
Olivia.
Uhuru, Dexter's folder.
Dexter.
Yeah.
See Ali. Kobina.
Uhuru, this is none of y'all. So,
None of y'all.
no appreciation, no that reason. Uhuru, comrades.
Everybody's calling you.
Uhuru.
Nobody wants to do the live.
Uhuru, come in, Enikia.
So is even necessary.
Uhuru, come back.
Uhuru.
The objective is for people to be able to see.
Uhuru, Kimber's on.
Uhuru, come in, Kimba.
Uhuru, Shady.
Ushende.
Uhuru, Chambers.
Uhuru.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Did someone come on who did not announce yourself? Yeah.
This is Israel.
Israel.
Taylor Moxon. Taylor Moxon.
Taylor Mark.
Oh, Juanita.
Taylor Mark. Juanita.
Jason.
Justin. Good.
Uhuru, Kushinda.
Uhuru, Kushinda. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks.
It's good to hear from you.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, come in, Mafrika.
Uhuru, Africa. Uhuru, Kabula.
Uhuru, come in, Kabula.
Tumbo.
Got a fan club, Kabula. K-Fin. Uhuru, come in. Who was that?
Yesterday.
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 Uhuru.
Yesterday.
Yesterday, Uhuru.
Who's the robot?
Apparently we have a robot on the line.
Yes, I hear.
Comrade Green Brown on the plane from Missouri.
Read it down.
How's it going?
Uhuru, what does that sound? You think it's what?
Yeah, I heard it myself.
Vince Lawrence? Oh, Vince Lawrence is on. That sound that's coming from you, Vince. That's a real strange sound, Vince.
Yes, I had my air conditioner on, but I can turn it off on here.
I don't think that's what we're hearing.
Yeah,
That's Vince. That's Vince.
Vince Lawrence.
That's someone else, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's Vince Lawrence.
Vince. Oh, yeah, we got
Was that
Who was that?
was that Ali that I just heard come on?
It looks like it's coming. It looks like it's coming from a phone number 239-292. Okay.
Okay,
That's Vince.
okay.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was me, comrade.
You good, Grady. No self-flagellation.
Oh, it's Ali Hutty calling Mr. Pro.
Comrade Ali Hutley.
Uhuru Kulumbai.
Columbi, my president.
Columbi and Fofi.
And Foots.
Hey, cousin.
How you doing? Good. Uhuru Comrade Ona Zane. Ona Zine.
On the scene.
Ona Zine on the scene.
Look at
Still here.
the Super Mario.
All right,
Oh,
Vince.
There you go.
Comrade Vince.
Everybody might have to mute though. Everybody should.
Everybody should mute until, everybody should mute.
Okay.
Yeah, mute, comrade. Someone else just come on? No, okay.
Yeah, that was great. Grady Brown.
We
Grady,
got,
did you say your name?
Yeah,
we got Grady. Yeah, Grady been in this problem solving.
Hello, DC. Oh, I can't take it.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Uhuru Kulumbai.
Oh, Kundayi.
Kundayi.
How you doing, comrade?
Uhuru Kulumbai.
I heard y'all went in to finish the revolution in Memphis. Right on. There's someone else come on after, someone else come? Okay, yeah. I'm glad to hear y'all went in there.
Let me see, I'm missing. Kiangozi.
He's
Kiangozi.
traveling in his business car. He may be able to listen. He's coming from Mississippi. So, yeah.
All right, Malika.
And his reception is real bad.
Okay. So I wanna,
I wonder how you know that, and I don't.
know what?
I'm talking to John.
Oh, I see. Oh,
What?
okay, here's what we have thus far, just to be sure that everybody who's on has been identified. Nzei, Louise, Patricia, Janice, Elikia, Ikenge, Olafin, Timba, Demetrius, Timarina, David, Gaida, Bakari, Abdullah, Osman, Olivia, Dexter, Sayali, Kobina,
Yeah.
Nanaya, Elikia, No.
Akimba.
Alikia, Akimba, Oshinde, Israel, Taylor, Walia, Johnson, Kushinda, Osenu, Kabula, Kafing, Yesterday, Greater Brown, Ali Hutley, Columbi, Fofi, Onazane, Ishitela, Vince Lawrence, Kundai. Someone else just come on? Who's that?
Uhuru.
Napa.
I didn't understand that.
Yes.
Who's that?
Sent the number.
Nada.
Nada, oh, Nada. Uhuru.
605.
Okay.
605 313 5588.
Uhuru.
Uhuru
Yeah.
Chicago.
231011 is the pin people are on now.
And who else was there?
Uhuru.
Chipago. Uhuru, come on. Oh, good to hear from you.
Did you say Chicago?
Come in, right. Say it again.
I heard it from Riverside.
Riverside.
I'm writing on the one I got.
And come in, Raquel. Is there someone else? All right.
Here, Riverside?
Yes,
Come on.
Riverside.
All right. He's texting me.
Chairman, need to get the color on it early.
Okay,
T'Challa.
T'Challa, that's what I was looking
Okay,
for, T'Challa. Let's see. No Malika. No Malika. No, not David. Hashem Chiwaniso.
Yeah, Hashem and Chiwaniso. We did, Chiwaniso was on the schedule.
She was.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go ahead and begin this. We're about 10 minutes over. And so,
Go ahead,
Comrade Louise, you will be opening, introducing the meeting. This is Comrade Secretary General Louise Kinshasa, who is currently in London, England. Uhuru, Comrade Louise.
Mr. Chairman, Uhuru, comrades, it's just a great honor for me to be asked by Chairman Amadi to do the opening. And this is an organization with great sense of purpose, of duty, because as the chairman repeatedly has been saying, we've assumed the responsibility to organize and lead the struggle of the African nation. And there is nothing bigger than that. So I just want to say thank you to the chairman for giving me the opportunity to do that. And what I want to say is that you already heard this many times coming from the chairman himself. The world is been changing, and in fact, the world has changed still. When we just talk of having Chinese influence in Africa that nobody talk about, just read the speech 50 years ago. You won't see anybody complaining about the power of China, for example, in Africa. But now it's all over the globe. You know, it is evidence, you know, that the world has changed. And the world has changed. The way our conditions, wherever we are, demand that no African in his right mind can accept the conditions of living we experience every single day. It's not just unacceptable, and we must do everything in our is absolutely central. Everything we involved in has to be its final product has to be that we have to become the people with power. His power is not size. You know, that has to be, you know, in the BOA we talk about measurable you know, inputs. Power has to be what comes out of a black revolution, a black power. If that is not involved, you know, it's not even worth. So, and I want to say a few examples. You're all familiar with the great Asian Haiti basically revolution. You know, France could not keep Haiti afloat after the only successful proletarian revolution at the time. France has to combine with the United States, Holland, England, and the rest of the white power nation to contain Haiti. And if you go to South Africa, not so long ago, the apartheid regime, you know, we are told white people are a minority. There are only a handful of them. But we all know it was a combined power of the United States, France, England, and the rest of them that prevented the success of our struggle for national liberation in South Africa. You might remember the 60s. The little Belgium could not contain Lumumba and his struggle for national liberation struggle there. Within a matter of a week, we found ourselves with the United States, Canada, Belgium, of course, England, France, everybody else. Even the anti-Castro Cubans ended up in the Congo. You also remember the Mau Mau struggle. It was being successful struggle in the 50s.
Yeah.
It shook the British.
Yeah.
And we all know it's that struggle that created a space, to facilitate Nkrumah's victory in Ghana and other places. But what Britain did, the British government pulled together what they call Anglo-Saxon, some people refer to like that, all white power under the leadership of the Britain, those forces that Britain controlled, so Rhodesia, what they call Zimbabwe today, the Rhodesian settler state, South Africa settler state, Australian settler state, Canada settler state, all of them, and plus all the colonized soldiers Britain who rally around the world from Nepal, all these places, including Africa itself. People like Idi Amin, he was a soldier there in Kenya, killing, our revolutionary forces. And the Mao, of course, they fought by themselves. And there are many examples that we can give. But the lesson is that our freedom has to be won in a strategic way, in a way that it does not allow white imperialists to recover. And all these struggles, partially successful, had the limitations because we never had a single organization of African people that can mobilize the entire African nation to make sure the victory in Haiti or Congo or Kenya or wherever it is, it will be irreversible, and the fall of white power also will be irreversible. It went there for forever, and it could not happen. And you have to wait for Marcus Garvey to be on the scene. He organized in the U.S. Millions of African people around the world, as you know. And as you know, Marcus Garvey was winning. And that was the first significant, you could say, strategic struggle for power, that if it's consolidated, there is no coming back for white power, because that struggle was on its way to mobilize, to organize black people from everywhere in a single organization, in a single philosophy, single discipline, things like that. But as you know, the African people were right. Du Bois and others and collided with the U.S. government, and they brought Garvey down and destroyed our movement. Are you familiar with the OAU? Today it's known as the AU, which is a fraud, basically, because it was created not to unite Africa, let alone the African nation. They didn't include the African nation, yes, it was just restricted to Africa. And that was to frustrate Nkrumah. As you know, Nkrumah said himself, all the books he read, the one that inspired him, the one that fired up his imagination is the book on opinion and philosophy of Marcus Garvey. So he wants to continue that work. He was calling for one African nation, one government, one army, one foreign policy, one currency, things like that. And the African people, bourgeoisie of Nyerere and others collided with imperialism. They opposed that. But the lesson is, you could not unite Africa under the leadership of the head of state of Africa. The head of state, they are the African bourgeoisie. And they are more than prepared, because there's no even to speak about them being conditional. The practice shows they are prepared to maintain white power, otherwise, blackface. They are prepared to do that, and they have done it at the cost of millions of Africans, not just killed, but being killed every day. And that social force of the African bourgeoisie is opposed to it. We refer to them as compradors and bureaucrats. They have access to state power, and they control. They are the face of multinational companies and things like that. And, it's really something nobody can ignore today. And you cannot talk about AU or AU without talking about the borders, which is also a fraud in our soul, because we cannot achieve power without unity. And for us to achieve unity, we have to get the borders out of our way. And the Berlin Conference is what the African bourgeoisie is defending. They oppose African unity. Only thing they do every day in Africa, there is some talk about two countries making an agreement or something. The latest one, I think, the Ivory Coast and Ghana, which produce most of cocoa, to Spain, the production, not production, the sale of cocoa. I haven't followed closely, but the big news, when you listen to it, but when you study that, that's no revolutionary solution. That's no going against imperialism. Or it might create some crisis, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about ending the domination of African nations by white power or any other power who might try to substitute himself to it. And that's what we want. Anything else is an arrangement between those two to get the best deal within the system. So the cocoa agreement between the two countries will be just the best deal for the African bourgeoisie of these two countries. It will not change the relationship of power for the African people and white power and the rest of the predators. And where we are now, we are in a base place because we have the lessons of history and we have the crisis, profound crisis imperialism, but we also have the philosophy, which is part of the crisis of white power. And we have also the African Socialist Party led by the chairman of Marichal. This is also part of the crisis. And in fact, we can begin to consider the Oxford presentation the chairman made as the beginning of the worldwide offensive of the African separation in terms of philosophical fight or war of ideas. And these war of ideas that we will not lose, as you know. And that's what we are. This one significance of this meeting, that we are trying to be clear on the purpose of our party, or for the meetings we have. We are leading the offensive, at least the ideological, philosophical offensive on an outdated system of white power capitalism. And we have to assume it and do all the works that is needed so that we go to the end of it. Because part of what follows successful ideological offensive, practical offensive in any other ways. Every way on the continent of Africa and in the Caribbean, the US, other places, we've got struggles in many ways. For those who just followed the Omari taught me on he talks about the revolutionary struggle. It's just one aspect of it. What I'm trying to say is that grounds are everywhere. It's just that the bourgeois media doesn't show the world the truth. Every day in Mali, you may be Senegal of Congo, Africans are fighting. Sometimes he achieves momentarily a mass struggle, then he dies out everywhere. And what is missing is those struggles are not guided by an advanced theory, because every struggle in African nation must be tied to the question of black power, to the question of basic black population for a single united state of African leadership with African workers. Every struggle has to have that long view understanding consciousness. That's all the battle of ideas is, penetrated everywhere. So in the struggle, we are there too. Because I repeat that many times, we are fighting everywhere. And sometimes at a greater sacrifice. It's better for people to know the sacrifice being done for African revolution, for black power. They don't know. We're dying in Sudan, we're dying in Congo, we're dying in Cameroon. In the name of what? Struggle for democracy, struggle for good governance, struggle for what they call rule of law, stuff like that. And all these basically just to highlight the magnitude of our task, because we have to reach those places so that we make the irreversible change we're talking about that will precipitate, accelerate the downfall, destruction, irreversible destruction of basically white power. And the last thing that I just want to say is we don't have a habit of working together. It's a new habit. And it's a fruitful, healthy habit, because we're going to discover our own strengths. We're going to learn from each other. And we're going to correct our mistakes much quicker, because the party had over 40 years of experience. And party has developed science of organization that you don't see any way, unless you are in the party. So it basically is a great leap forward by itself, and moving into business, generalize it, and get it in all corners. So no one is behind, no backwards for any sort in the movement, because that's what revolution is. It's destroying all the backwardness amongst the people. Organizationally, politically, economic, everything, so that's the party does. So that we can go to the high forms or high level. So we're going to have struggles, so that everyone, part of the organization is corrected under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. So I just want to say I don't have any more to say to that. Just want to say thank you to all comrades who are participating to this meeting, and thank you to Chairman Amadi for being at the right place and being given us the right tools to go forward. And there is no doubt we're winning. And wherever African internationalism sets foot in Africa is a death for imperialism and colonialism. So I just want to say that, and I'll over back to Chairman Amadi.
I want to really express appreciation and commend Louise for that, for opening up this meeting on today. So far, there are people I expect to be here, brothers and sisters from South Africa who are not on, I don't think, and comrades from the Bahamas, I don't think are on. But I wanted to say that without being hopefully too obviously redundant from the message that we just got from Comrade Louise de Kinshasa, that this is an extremely important process that we're involved in. We don't have these meetings with the kind of regularity that we should, but that's changing now. We will begin to have these meetings on a regular basis because it's extremely important for the people in the party to be conscious of participating in a seamless organization that spans the globe. And it's important that members of the party and the different party organizations are conscious presence of other members and organizations of the party. I think that's helpful. It's also significant that we have been working for nearly 50 years with the African People's Socialist Party, which is in and of itself is an extraordinary feat, given how vicious imperialist white power is and has been with every movement, every leader, every organization that we've created to try to win our freedom in the past. We haven't been able to achieve political maturity, experience, and things like that. And the party has been here for nearly 50 years, and we have done that. And we have created various physical and practical manifestations of our existence and the success of our work. And I think that's important. It's important because we've said it before, that people get born into a situation and give them appearance of having always been like this. And many people were born after August 9th, 2014. That was the birth of so many people. Mike Brown was killed. Everybody became revolutionary. Everybody knew what the revolution was about. We had, young people running around saying this is not the civil rights movement of your grandfathers or something to that effect. And that was something that served to make them sound very weighty in the circles within which they ran. But the fact is that this revolutionary project that we're involved in does have a history. And the African People's Socialist Party for the last 50 years have been a part of that history, a part of shaping that history, a part of developing within that history and helping develop that history. When the Black Revolution of the 60s occurred, most of the people who were involved in that struggle, most of the militants, most of the activists were relatively new to revolutionary political life. We achieved what might approximate revolutionary consciousness is through the struggle itself. We mostly started off talking about trying to reform the system. That's what we wanted. That's the only thing most of us understood, that this benevolent white man who talks about democracy and freedom all the time, he just doesn't know what the hell is happening out here with us, the life that we're living. So we have to demonstrate what our situation is and get the benevolent white man to solve our problems. That was how many of us started off at one time. Even Patrice Lumumba, who is a legendary force advancing the struggle for total emancipation of African people. At one time, he had even thought that the best way to achieve freedom for every African to make a friend with a Belgian white oppressor, colonizer, etc. We became revolutionaries, many of us, in the process of trying to reform the system, make the system respond to our aspirations, not knowing that the system was responsible for our conditions, and nowhere in hell could it respond to our aspirations in an honest way. And so now we have a situation for nearly 50 years after the defeat of the Black Revolution. The African working class, we're not starting this movement. We're not starting something with some assumption that this system can be reformed. We're not being pushed into revolutionary consciousness or revolutionary project. We're starting as revolutionaries. Mm-hmm. So the problem we're trying to solve is not how to reform the system or make the system better or anything like that. The problem we're trying to solve is what does it take for us as African people, to overturn this system, to get it out of the lives of Black people once and for all, and to remove it from the scene of history, to remove this horrible social system that's responsible for the oppression of the vast majority of the people on earth, to destroy it, to get it out of our lives so that we can have a quality and decent life as people. So we did create the African People's Socialist Party, and this has given the African working class a power that it has never had before. It has given the African working class the capacity to overturn our oppression and exploitation, be able to say that we know that our children will have a future because we have created an instrument in the party that will seize the power, that will put the power of the future in our own hands. So we know that our children will have a future, not because we have made a good friend with a colonial white person, but because we have taken the power. This is what the African People's Socialist Party is about. That's what we've done, and we've been forced to really investigate this system because most of the time we've been ignorant of the system. We work within the limitations that have been given to us. I mean, we are smart and educated because we went to the colonial schools and things like this, and this is a sheer measurement of how educated we are because the colonizers have educated us. And we went to these institutions and we read the news magazines from the bourgeoisie on a regular basis, and we do look at BBC and what have you, and so we're on top of everything. We're pretty smart people, we think, most of the time. This is how misinformed this is the process of misinforming, the process of miseducating us that we call education. That's what the colonial education process is, no matter where it is that we are located. This is what we've gone through. And so we have investigated the system. We've been forced to look at the system. Many of us who went to these colonial institutions and learned everything they said about the institution and what it's supposed to look like when you're free and how to get freedom. We've gone through this. We say, hey, that's not true. That doesn't represent the reality that we're living with. And so we've been forced to say, well, what is the truth? And how do we get to it? And is there such a thing as an objective truth? A truth that's not the opinion of the beholder. You know what we heard about beauty being what? The eyes of the beholder. Is there an objective truth? And we've discovered that this objective truth, yes, there is an objective truth. And somebody, how's that? What's that happening with us now?
Somebody needs people, if rural comrades, if you're not speaking, you need to mute, please.
We can hear your telephone ringing.
Can we start 5 ourselves? Whatever Jim said with that. Well, anyway, so we need to, the thing is that there is an objective truth. It's not just an opinion, there's an objective truth. It is objectively true that the whole, that we suffer from capitalist exploitation. It is objectively true that the capitalist system itself was born through the enslavement and colonization of African people and then other peoples around the world. That's objectively true. That's the objective truth. That's not a matter of opinion. In fact, you can even go to the colonizers' history books and things like that, and you can see that what I'm saying is validated. So it's an objective truth. And we have to discover this objective truth. Then we have to say, what the hell does it mean? Because even though this truth was there before us, the colonizer told us that, yes, we see that you recognize that slavery, we did enslave and we did colonize you, but the reason we enslaved and colonized you because we had all this civilization that we had to give you because you were otherwise in bad trouble. You didn't have any Christianity, you didn't have any civilization, and so we imposed this on you to give you this. And so that was another step. They knew sooner or later you're going to wake up and find out that they did these things. So now they interpret what they did for you. And so now what you do, instead of doing everything you can to overturn the consequences, overturn them, is you become more Christian, more civilized, as defined by them in the pursuit of your freedom. But we've done better than that. We've looked at this objective truth, and we've used a method of scientific approach, a dialectical materialist approach of investigation and analysis, so that not only do we know what's happening now, not only we know how we got here because we investigate this whole process. You can't tell a thing about the present unless you investigate how it got here. That's how you can understand some things about phenomena. And then you also understand that social systems do exist and that all societies function with a social system. This social system is how a society produces itself, reproduces the life, how it gets the resources necessary to feed, clothe, and house itself. And stemming from that are ideas, and related to that are ideas, institutions, legal systems, and culture, and everything flows from. And we come to understand this thing. And so what we also have concluded is the whole system has to be overturned, and even the ideas produced by the system must be challenged in the most serious way. They must be criticized. Criticize all the ideas of the system. It has nothing good to offer us. So we've developed this science of investigation and analysis, and through this we have come forward with a theory of African internationalism that explains the world. It's our worldview. It's our philosophy. It means simply that it's our explanation of our place, our location in the world, and our future. It is a prediction of our future. That is exactly what philosophy is about. It's our worldview of our place, and destiny is what our philosophy is. So, and that is African internationalism. It shows us that we can be free, and the peoples of the world can be free, but it's going to take work. And that is going to take work. What Marcus Garvey told us a long time ago, it's going to take organization.
Yes.
And it's the thing that he talked about more than anything else. Organization. That's what it's going to take.
Yes.
And that means a couple of things. One, if you're going to be organized, it means that you cannot be satisfied with 54 so-called different Africans and Africas.
Yes.
You can't be satisfied with just those Africans on the continent of Africa and all these other Africans and other places that's been dispersed around the world. That's not organization. That's it. We're not leaving any damn body behind. We see that we are one Africa, one nation.
Yes.
And so we have to have the organization then that encompasses our reality wherever we've been pushed by imperialism. And so that's fundamental. And it also means that if we are going to make this happen and do this work for our freedom, it means also that we have to have a revolutionary organization, a revolutionary party. And if you're going to have a revolutionary party, you can't just have a revolutionary party because the party has certain kinds of rules. For example, like we talk about democratic centralism and criticism and self-criticism.
Yeah.
Those are rules that you can have,
Yes.
but the significance of those rules is not simply the enforcement, but the quality of the forces who are in the party. We have to create an organization of professionals. I mean, we are professional revolutionaries. No matter whatever else we may be, our profession is making this revolution that will overturn our condition. We hate this condition so much. We are appalled at the idea of the humiliation that African people have to experience every day of our lives. We are humiliated publicly. They don't even hide, do it behind closed doors and just laugh at us. They do it publicly. They kill us publicly. They justify it with nonsense and what have you. They make your so-called preachers, your leaders, your moral leaders buck dance for them for their own entertainment. They corrupt everything. They corrupt our parents, everything all around us to make this system work. We need a cadre. We need forces whose profession is revolution, who hate this circumstance, who hate the poverty, who hate the disease that's imposed on us, who recognize that we who brought civilization to the planet Earth should never have to live like this. No more. So that's who we are. So we're talking about an organization of professional revolutionaries. So what's your job? I'm a school teacher. What's your job? I'm a mechanic. My profession is revolution.
Yes.
That's a particular kind of organization, a particular kind of forces who voluntarily.
Yes.
And you can only be this revolutionary voluntarily.
Yes.
We're not like the mafia or the CIA. We don't shoot you in the knees because you don't want to be in the organization anymore. Just take your ass away.
Come on.
You don't even want to be here. You understand? And we don't do that. This is voluntary. You are voluntarily disciplined because you agree with the objectives of the party, what it is the party is trying to do.
Yes.
And you also recognize the necessity of this party.
Yes.
That if the people don't have the party, they have nothing.
Come on, Chairman.
Except preening, preening, one of these little forces they call it, these people who so fond of themselves that like fools' names or like their faces always seen in public places. You know what I mean? Those preening forces like that. That's all you have left.
Yes.
We said, we're making a revolution.
Yeah.
And that's why, I'm sorry that the comrades from South Africa are not here because I really love the way they're working in South Africa. They are dedicated, they are committed, and the comrade chairman Tafari Mugari, he said, hey, I'm stopping pulling people directly into the party. He stopped. He said, from now on, what we're doing, because he's not satisfied with the quality of the forces. We can't be satisfied with just any kind of force.
Yes.
And some people get mad at you because you ain't satisfied with any kind of force, and then they talk bad about you and stuff like that. But the fact is, he said, what we're going to do in South Africa is that we're bringing everybody in through NPDUM.
Yeah.
NPDUM is the staging ground.
Yes.
It becomes the way that people learn how to be an organization.
Yes.
It's the way that people learn who the party is.
Yes.
It's the way that we learn who they are.
Yes.
This is the process. And so we got 2 or 3 NPDUM branches already in South Africa, but we got cadre, a smaller party, but cadre, people who are dedicated to the revolutionary project. So they're not swayed by the kind of stuff that some individuals who have not become cadre might be swayed by. And at this time, ideological firmness, organizational firmness, commitment is a critical question. More now than ever before, especially when more and more people are coming in, we need an organization of cadre. We need a steeled organization of forces who will protect the revolution and push it forward. There's nothing more precious than the party. And I want to be clear when I say this. There's nothing, I made a statement earlier in the study today about how some people can't stand criticism. This is a principle, this is an organizational principle of democratic centralism. It's the main primary organizational principle. And within there is the whole concept of criticism and self-criticism. Sometimes it's a little difficult for people to get accustomed to who lived under white power domination for such a long period of time, because the tendency is to blame and to avoid blame. It's different. Well, what we're talking about in terms of criticism and self-criticism, it's not finding somebody to blame for something. That doesn't solve a damn problem at all. I hate people who just run around blaming people. The question is to uncover contradictions so they can be solved, so that problems in the
Yes.
organization can be resolved,
Yes.
so that the capacity of individuals who are in the party can grow greater.
Yes.
You can't grow it if you cover it up, so you have to criticize it and say, hey, that's a contradiction. This is what we stand for. This is how it should be done. This is what you were committed to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's the thing that maintains our revolutionary path. And then you have to be able to say, even if somebody didn't see it, you have to be able to say, hey, I made this error. I want to engage in this self-criticism, because if you made the error, then I'm capable of making the same error. And if I don't know the error was made and hasn't been criticized, then I can't, the problem can't get solved. So we believe in criticism and self-criticism. And when somebody criticizes us, we should be happy, especially if they're right. If they're wrong, then we have to struggle around that question. But sometimes, even if the criticism is wrong, and you get blamed for it, just like when your mama used to spank you and you damn sure didn't do what the hell she said do, you don't get a hatchet and wait to kill your mama or something like that. You know, your mama loved you, and this is a whole process that you were just dealing with. The party is always right. Even if you get criticized wrong, the party is right, because the party is the vehicle that's going to take our people to the future. And you are not bigger than the party. You're not bigger than the future of the party, so it can make an error in criticizing you, and then you just have to go ahead and deal with it and get better the next time, and help not that contradiction not be made anymore. The party is right. We have to fight to protect the party. We have to fight to protect the unity of the party, because the people ain't got nothing else if they don't have the damn party. This is the organization that we have to, that we are part of and that we're struggling for. So I just want to say that right now, in particular, there is so much stuff that's going on in the world. It's a reflection of the crisis of imperialism. And you are so important, comrades, in the African People's Socialist Party, because the bourgeoisie, the ruling class, using various kinds of platforms and organizations and machinations, trying to take revolution and redefine it. Trying to take the critical questions of revolution and redefine it. And they are doing this because the people are approaching a place where revolution is clearly the only solution forward. In order to keep people from finding the real revolution, they'll give you a revolution. In order for the people to find real socialism, they'll give you some socialism. In order to keep the people from discovering real reparations, they'll give you some reparations. But socialism, reparations, revolution cannot be given to you. And even though this is really important for those of us in the African People's Socialist Party, because you will see more and more people saying reparations, right on. You are responsible for the fact that they're saying reparations right on. I'm saying this literally true, that we are the organization that made reparations a mass issue, a mass question, and actually built reparations organization at Patricia in London. They know that I traveled through there and took the reparations in 1982 to 83. I was there with the reparations demand, and I went throughout England spreading the reparations. I went into France and met with African people that reparations, etc. So we did this. I went to Ireland and got the Irish Republican Socialist Party to sign on to the reparations demand. You know, so we are the ones who made this a popular demand out in the world. And we wanted everybody. We wanted Uncle Tom's. We wanted sellouts. We wanted everybody to say reparations. But even not only couldn't Uncle Tom say it, but the militants couldn't say it. I mean, like you had people like Ronald Dellums, who is held up now as this shining example of independent socialism. He was one of the socialists early on in the U.S. Congress, out of the Bay Area of California. And we took the reparations demand to him. And he refused to unite with reparations. This is critical. And they said to us, his staff, that he couldn't unite with it because his base, his electoral base was his liberal white folk who lived right there in the Bay Area. But this is the Ronald Dellums, who we saw standing in the Congress, making speech, crying crocodile tears, because when he saw his young Japanese friend carted off to a concentration camp when he was a boy, and he was fighting for reparations for the Japanese. Dellums did that, but he couldn't say reparations for black people because his white liberal base would be upset about that. Jesse Jackson, he used our our office in Baltimore. It was his when he ran for president. Our African National Reparations Organization office in Baltimore was used as his headquarters. We talked to Jesse Jackson about reparations. He said it is not germane at this time. He refused to put reparations forward. We talked to him about doing that in the 1980s. He refused to do it. And then there are other Negro leaders of great stature who said that, well, we don't want to say reparations because even if we got the money, we don't have a bank to put it in. If you got the money, you buy the bank, nigga.
Come on.
You understand? You don't need a bank, you understand? But, so we want all of them. We wanted everybody to say reparations. But we knew, because the real reason we want to say reparations, because reparations offers the deepest, most profound criticism of capitalism that you can find any place, because capitalism was born of enslaving African people and stealing all of our resources everywhere. So we want everybody to say reparations, even though we knew that Jesse Jackson, even if he had agreed at the time, he's agreed now, that people, other people who didn't agree at the time and have subsequently agreed, we knew that they weren't going to do what had to be done. We knew that they meant something different from reparation than what we mean. But the point is, at the moment, the African masses of the world understand the question of reparations, not because some Congress or some legislation or something like that said that we should have reparations. At the moment the masses understand reparation, we don't need a Congress.
Come on.
We don't need a damn legislation, just need an AK. And whatever it is taking, we take the reparations. That's how reparations becomes a function of the revolution. You understand? Well, you don't just need an AK, but because you need organization.
Right.
You need philosophy. You need all those other things that's provided by the party. Let me just say this, because I don't want to sound fanciful, because this is not fanciful. Because the key to the both the Russian and the Chinese Revolution was the question of the peasantry, and how the peasants had no land and no resource. They were being bled by the feudal or semi-feudal system that existed in both of those places. And the Bolsheviks and the Chinese Communist Party made the question land for the peasants critical to their movement. And you know, when you knew that revolution was kicking off, when the peasants start taking the damn land themselves. That's the thing that forwarded the revolutionary project. Peasants start taking the land as the contradictions deepen and deepen and deepen. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about reparations. The peasants taking the land. And wherever we are located as Africans around the world. And then I want to say socialism. And I want to say this specifically because I know people can find Bernie Sanders to be a trying personality. You know, he can be obnoxious, and it's easy to say, you know, up yours, Bernie. But there are people like the Ocasio woman, what's her name? Alexandra Ocasio, who talking about socialism. And there's even a book there's one of the important bourgeois journals, The Economist, that comes out of England, has on the front cover of the last one that I saw, something about millennial socialists, right? And then I just saw something on the social media the other day talking about modern day socialism, right? And so, but I'm thinking Ocasio because she's militant. Y'all seen her on TV, right? And y'all seen her talking all this. She's militant and she's sharp as hell. But you don't get socialism just by being militant, pretty, and sharp. There ain't better socialism. When you're talking about socialism, you're talking about going up against a social system. Socialism is a social system. It is an opposition to an existing social system, which is what? Capitalism. Capitalism is defended by drones. Capitalism is defended by nuclear weapons. Capitalism is defended by the police in every goddamn community that we exist in. Capitalism is defended by neo-colonialism. You don't get rid of capitalism just because you're pretty and just because you say socialism. No. If you want socialism for real, you got to get rid of capitalism. To get rid of capitalism, you got to have revolution. And if you're gonna have revolution, then you got to be in a revolutionary party. If you're gonna be in a revolutionary party, get in touch with Uhuru, APSP-Uhuru.org. That's what you do if you really want an album from Ocasio yet. So this is what we are talking about. This is what we are talking about, and this is what you have to be conscious of. party members.
Yes,
Because we're gonna have to hold the line.
yes.
Because you're gonna look up every day, you're gonna see something new, and somebody's gonna say, "What she means?" Well, that ain't what she means when she say that. Well, that's not what she intends. And we say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we're not talking what she intended. We're talking about what she has to do if she's telling the truth.
Yes.
And if she's honest.
Yes.
And if she's serious.
Yes.
If you're honest and serious,
Come
you won't
on,
get it
Chairman.
from the Congress, you get it from the party.
Come on,
And
Chairman.
the only party you can get it from is the African People's Socialist Party.
World. Yes,
And you're going to have confidence enough to
Yes.
be able to hold that stand.
yes.
Because you're going to have a lot of liberal friends and stuff like that. They're going to try to tell you how, y'all saying ain't nobody right, but y'all damn right. That's exactly what you're saying. Precisely. Now you got it, kid. Now you got it. Like there's something wrong with you being the only one right. You understand? What the hell does it make? Right. I'm the only one right. I'm right. You understand? So anyway, that's really important. So and we have to be committed to this party, and there's work that we have to do.
Yes.
And we work hard. Many people don't know that. See, they see us, and because we carry a little swag with us. You understand? And so they see that. They see us in events, and they see a killer killing it and shit like that. Strutting down the street, with other people following. And so that's a great shot. You understand?
Yeah.
But they don't know the work that was done to get there.
Absolutely.
And then when that is over, the work that's going to have to be done.
Absolutely.
So and people like these ones that we see in Congress are responsible for this false notion of what it takes to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
People have died in this struggle and fought for this struggle, and it's not going to be happening. We're not going to have this freedom without sacrifice.
Yeah.
But we have cadre who are prepared to do anything necessary to win the freedom of our people. That's how you know your children are going to have a future.
Yes.
Your child cannot be guaranteed a future if mine doesn't have a guaranteed future. Protect my child by protecting yours.
Come on,
And
Chairman.
protecting every other
Come
child
on.
like mine. That's how we
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Even when my children are too stupid to understand
Yes.
this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing.
Yes. Yes.
This is how we have to move this thing forward. And
Absolutely.
we have the right organization to do it. And I just want to really say a special thank you to all of these, the comrade veterans of the African People's Socialist Party, who have gone through many of the struggles that we're talking about. Some people who've been with me, facing, police terror and stuff like that. And Comrade Chimarenga's here, and Comrade Gaeta's on the phone. And we're both here when the government had planned to murder me and kill the revolutionary right here in St. Petersburg, Florida. They shot all kinds of tear gas here and really brought helicopters and airplanes and the whole thing against this Aurora House, and 300 troops right out here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Kay Fing and I, who went through some of the most dangerous areas in the United States, organizing for the liberation of our people, and others here, the Correga and Patricia and Luisi, who we worked all over England and France, and what have you, and not just France, Germany and Belgium, organizing for the liberation of our people and going through the various struggles that's necessary, because all of it is about struggle.
Yes.
And there are various other Bakri who participated with Comrade Gaeta again, and the organizing and running the African People's Free Healthcare, the Bobby Hutton Free Healthcare Project, and then the African People's Child Care Collective that we organized in Oakland, California. The tremendous amount of work that we've done every place. We've not just been people who talked about struggle, but we've been preparing all the time to govern and to actually put in place the actual processes and organizations to make revolutionary struggle happen. And of course, I cannot, move this discussion forward without, really saying the great influence that the presence of Comrade Omezine Ishitella has had to the African People's Socialist Party. The work that really, more than any other force, has taken the philosophy. And when we talk about the govern, that's what we're talking about: getting power and governing. Taken projects and created, institutionalized the process of creating economic institutions and moving them forward and connecting them to the basic political organizational structures and things like that. It's just been really profound. The all of you, just the incredible work. And also, I want to remind folk that we're going to be building these regions. And so we're talking about regional leaders who are in this meeting, Africa, Europe, and then throughout the United States, throughout the Caribbean and what have you. All of that's fundamentally important. And of course, I have to give a nod to my staff, to the staff of my office, and for the really dedicated work that you do as well, and all of you. I just want to thank you again for being here and just remind us of who we are. That's essentially what I want to do and what the significance of this meeting is. And we'll be having many more meetings, and you got to work.
Yeah.
You got to sell a Brunswick newspaper. You got to recruit people into the organization. You got to work. So it's not just one of those kind of things where you can send somebody off for a few dollars for this, for that, for the university or the ununiversity or the other thing that's happening. You got to work. That's what this is about. And we worked like slaves for 400 years for somebody else, and now we're gonna have to work like slaves for ourselves.
Come on, Chairman.
And the only gun over us is imperialism. We got to get rid of imperialism forever. So that's why we're gonna do it. So I want to thank everybody, and go ahead and move the project forward.
Chairman, yes.
So Alex is on. Right on. Uhuru.
YouTube.
Uhuru, come on YouTube. Okay, didn't know that. Adwa from London. This is the administrative assistant project director for Comrade Louise Kinshasa, who's Secretary General of the ASI, and Chimoniso and Hashim out of Houston, Texas, are both on. Glad to see that. Uhuru, comrades. So, and Chimoniso and Hashim are in the southern region of the United States, and Alex in the Caribbean, and Adwa, as I mentioned earlier, in London. Uhuru. So now,
Louise.
Comrade Louise
report.
Comrade Louise is going to be reporting now, and I guess Tafari, Chairman Tafari from Occupied Azania, South Africa, is not on, but Comrade Louise may have something to say about him in this report. So we don't have a lot of time, but we're going to go ahead and move this project forward, and it's on you, Comrade Louise.
We don't have a lot of time, but we're going to go ahead and. Yeah, okay. First of all, just to commend the work as being done and the leadership of Chairman Tafari in South Africa. Basically, as you all know, the significance of South Africa is a place where there is some natural capacity to transform all the raw material in Africa instead of shipping them outside of Africa. And you also have a working class that is used to organize, because that's what the proletariat is. The proletariat loves to be organized, and you can see this reflected in the African working class state. And so the government, they have been able to not just to put the party on the ground, essentially around what they call the province of Gauteng, like Johannesburg, all these places, they are saying Everton, and then Kokosi. Kokosi is where the power is based, and Everton is where Asa is based. So these are the stronghold of the organization. And we have also even branches there in Kokosi and in Everton. And what is good, we also have our representation in Eastern Cape. And we also are in Limpopo. Limpopo is next to Zimbabwe. In fact, that's where Commander Tafari was heading to. So the presence of the body is on the ground, and it's being felt by other organizations. We can see the way they're reacting on social media and the things like that. And then the good thing that the Communist Party is doing there is they are definitely working for the consolidation of income there as the mass organization, as you heard the Chairman you mentioned early. Well, now there is a effort to basically to move from a mass organization to the party is which is definitely is a good thing because which allows the party to be an organization of leaders. So everybody who's the party has a leadership responsibility already through Inbidam, and that really is really a thing to consolidate. And the other thing is in South Africa with the work the parties is being done there is that not only we have this mass organization, but the ideological struggle, because one of our main jobs is to do basically spread African internationalism, and they're having rallies. One of the jobs of the Inbidam is to organize Inbidam rallies wherever they are situated, and with that rally, you have definitely a membership. And what they're trying to do, organize very quickly so that the members come into the Inbidam, they can put in place a leadership in that city, and all the members will be organized, and they will vote for the consolidation of the leadership, and which definitely opens up a greater accountability. Remember, we say, all in South Africa, the culture of organizing, is really there, and the party being there, we're just going to take that to another level with African internationalism. So those rallies are really something that are helping the party basically to be on the ground and begin to claim territories, basically, because we are the only one doing rallies that was demanding you go solve the problems of the workers. The workers have to be organized. We go fight for Black Power. Nobody's saying that. So the revolution is not over yet. So that's one of the of significance of that. And they're having studies, regular studies, and in fact you can see on Facebook the information of Comrade Tafari. And then we're in the process of having some kind of news letter that sums up what's going on in South Africa. But the point here is that ideological struggle is being done, organization is being done, so the African workers are being organized under the leadership of African internationalism, and African internationalism is being spread. Not just on Facebook like that, but we go in the poor areas where no one goes, because when we say we're having rallies, these rallies are happening in full neighborhoods. Or not talking about uptown rally. This rally is in a poor neighborhood, so people can see what's this? Oh, the whole movement. Oh, what's African internationalism? I mean, you have to see that the level of poverty is there, and the people begin to see the solution for them. So that's basically the essence. I might want to say that the building Inbidam, and from Inbidam, and using it as a consolidated party, rallies are being done. Spread after the national is being done, development of members is being done, and also the organizing not just one place but across South Africa, and they're getting more demand anyway to go to far regions, and so like comments basically to have a dynamic understanding that we definitely are growing, and the future is basically in the hands of African working class. And the last thing I think you need to know is they could just be very in mind that the Congress we take in South Africa in 2023, and wherever we are, that's the thing we need to internalize, so that the road in Congress is smooth. So we don't, realize just 6 months ago. So this itself is bigger. In fact, it could become a mobilizing rally around the African world.
Yeah.
We go to South Africa everywhere. And it becomes a reality for us. We stay being You know, we building communities anyway, and we begin to put pressure on many levels, and asking people who are trying get your borders out because we're going there, yeah. So it's really exciting, basically, what's happening in South Africa. That's one thing, one way I can play. Yes, well.
Thank you, comrade. So we're gonna move forward now with Comrade Kalambai and Annette.
Yes. For MP Dom.
Uhuru.
Well, yes, I just want to say I really appreciate the overview by, Secretary Loisy and Chairman just slaughtered it. I really appreciate it. Uhuru Comrade, so I just wanted to really appreciate my IEC and say that on the IEC, we have Comrade Sophie that leads the economic development work right now, and her biggest goal right now is the building fund for the EPDM office that we are scheduled to move out of the Uhuru House right after our convention. So the convention is in September. I'm gonna talk about it a little later. So that is one of the biggest projects coming out of the economic work going into the convention, and just locating a place where we will be having this EPDM office, and then making it a trend, talking to other areas, wherever EPDM is, to find hubs where we can have, posters, and the community can come and actually walk into EPDM offices where you can buy the Burning Spirit, you can purchase Uzi, you can buy the colonnades, you can get Uhuru pies, and et cetera, just a hub. And the importance of that, so we can have programs right there in the soul of, the African colony. And so that's what I wanted to really highlight with the economic work. And then, so I really want to salute Sophie for her service, and, we got contradictions, but, just an amazing comrade that's willing, up for the task, to always, trying to solve the problem. So I just want to salute Sophie. And then we also have Ushindi that leads outreach. And so right now, Ushindi is really focusing on making sure that every area is doing outreach on a consistent basis, and that every area is carrying the Burning Spirit and actually selling the Spirit. And also, right now, we don't have a outreach coordinator on the IEC, but we're looking to go into the convention, and that's one of the things, position that we want to have. And but Ushindi has been consistent on working with areas to become branches. And so we have 2 areas that are requesting the branch application to become branches. So I want to salute New York. New York is a place where we have been growing, and they are one of the fastest growing branches that we have. The fastest is South Africa. We're South Africa. One branch in South Africa. They have we located in 4 different places. They have 2 branches and 2 organizing committees in South Africa. But one of their branches has like 30-some members. And so I just really want to salute and appreciate South Africa and the work that they're doing, learning a lot from the forces there. In a lot of ways have less than we do here, and really making the work happen. So New York, and then also St. Louis has rebuilt a branch here. And so I want to appreciate Westbrook, who is the local president now. And this just happened this week that the forces met and voted, and we have everybody in a position to fill out that application to become a branch here in St. Louis. And so moving on to Comrade Walia, which is the treasurer. And, Walia has been working, and she's also on the committee for the Wabingi Bank, which EPDM is very united around this program. And so Walia is the one that's leading it up for the local branch, for the local EPDM. and had laid out, a schedule of how we going to raise our $1,000, by October the 1st, and then the next $1,000 as well, which every party force that, primary work of Repeat-On will be contributing to that. And, you know, we just seen how it's very doable. So really, appreciate Deputy Chair for laying out the science for Walia to bring to us. And it was just a very smooth process. Walia also is she's part of the committee of registration, with a new party force. So, want to salute Walia and the work that she's doing to the IEC, very diligent, to make sure that, we are raising the necessary resources to fulfill our budget. And then we have, Conrad Chirinizo that I cannot say enough about. She's been on leave, due to her baby, but she's coming back. She actually want to come back before she was scheduled to come back. Just, you know, someone that is very inspiring to be cadre, and, you know, just like, okay, I'm ready to get back into the work with the convention coming, approaching so soonly. So just want to really salute Chirinizo that has been, really fighting for membership. So we, are in just a great place with membership. Let me tell you that it's contradictions. We need to be building more, and we need more members, and we need to, really, you know, internalize how to bring the masses into the work and not make it so complicated. But Chirinizo has really, helped our database, so we know exactly, it's no lost members, it's no members that fall through the cracks. And so really want to salute Chirinizo with our membership and, you know, for the membership base, and that's what she does. And she's also the, secretary for the IEC. And Jashan has been acting as the secretary, in her absence. Really want to appreciate, Jashan. He has been named, the recruiter. We, really been fighting for, us to be turned into recruiters, and Jashan has recruited, numerous of members, in the last quarter. So really want to shout out Jashan. And then we also have Dexter, who's over Info and Ed, that just, you know, having, someone that's, you know, constantly engaged in, you know, making sure that we have writers for the Burning Spear, that we write for the Burning Spear, and, you know, the look of Repeat-On branding, you know, Repeat-On. And one of the things that we are, our goal is to have our, why do I say, Uhuru out by the convention, where a lot of people on the call probably have been interviewed on why I say Uhuru. So putting faces, to, you know, different testimonials of how, the theory, has changed our life. So I just really want to appreciate my whole IEC, that, you know, make up, you know, the leadership, you know, of our MAG organization. And, one of the things, so September the 13th and the 15th is going down. It's going to be here at, the convention. We didn't have a convention last year. So we having a convention. The convention is very, important, and it's important to all the party forces, all party people. Like, it's so important to the masses for us. So we have been looking at the political report, and not only the political report, we went back to the plenary, reports as well. And we went back to looking at, the convention, the last convention that we have, because we want to be able to lay out the good, bad, and the ugly, and where Repeat-On has to go, you know, politically, and bringing Africans back into political life. And so the title of this convention is called "The Struggle is Real." This is genocide, real organization, real science, real solution. And so, the first day is going to be a award ceremony that you don't want to miss. Jashan is really fighting for sponsors. We really trying to do big things with bringing, different cultures, to the stage for this award ceremony. And one of our strategies is to, for every area where Repeat-On is, that we will bring a local artist, from that area, to rock the stage for this, award ceremony. So it will be, you know, award ceremony where we will, highlight, different people, organizers, you know, people who sell the spear, et cetera. And it will be some, members votes that will be receiving an email if you're a member of Repeat-On, which all party forces should be. to vote on, certain, awards that will be given out, and then some of them will be selected by, a particular committee, for those awards. So we really want this to be, a really nice time, and so the next day we get right to business. The first day will be, reports from the president of the last 5 years and where we're going. We will have our keynote, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, and we will have different panel discussions around African short genocide and, you know, where we're going with that. So that's one of the things that, Yashindi had brought to the table, that, what we're gonna do wherever we are, we're gonna be having African short genocide pre-convention, events in different areas, that we calling on everybody to have these events. This will help you to win people to come to the convention, to understand the urgency of this convention, for them to really go into a deep, profound conversation around genocide and the demand of reparations. And also some of our constitutional things, because just in the meeting yesterday, we've seen that, you know, we are going to be looking at our constitution in a deep, profound way, because that's what God and Peter work in, you know, even places like South Africa, so their participation in this convention as well. The second day will be a lot of things, you know, business that we have to take care of around votes, and, you know, how EPDM will be functioning for the next year until our next convention.
I'm sorry, yeah, that's the time. I guess we should have announced it, you know, that we were asking for 10-minute reports.
But now we gotta bring it to 5.
Yeah.
And now we have to bring it to 5, I'm told. We have to bring it down to 5. And I know that's gonna displease a lot of people, but we're gonna now hear from displeased comrade Yezideh.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Comrade Yezideh, if you're muted.
If you're talking yesterday, we can't hear you.
That's one of your minutes. coming.
Okay, can we go to the,
So let's skip that and go first to Comrade Yaw from the northern region. We can come back. Comrade Yaw.
Hello,
Comrade.
Chairman, and comrades, I just want to appreciate the overview, the powerful overview by Secretary General Louise and also the chairman. And what's going on in Philadelphia, the north, not just Philadelphia, but the northeast region. But we're just coming off of our African Liberation Day, and you know, just getting back into the groove, you know, back building the region. I just like to salute my committee. You have myself as chair. You have Osman as the secretary. Yesterday she's over the African Women's Program in the region. We have Fidelity, Economic Development, and Hossein, he was over the Membership and Recruitment Coordinator. We have Yashindi, who's over coordinating the outreach, and Comrade Walia, who's leading up the impedum. Of course, she's coordinating membership with impedum in the region. So I just want to salute all those comrades for all the work that they've been doing and for being a part of our committee. Also, Dexter is part of the region. He's been doing some work and working in different capacities. Well, in the region, you know, it's important that we continue to build our impedum forces throughout the region. Mainly, we're working right now in New York, and which President Kalambay just announced that, you know, the building of the regions in New York, and building of the impedum in New York, and we're in Newark, New Jersey, and we're located, working and building, looking to build a unit here in Philadelphia. And so we have a comrade in Kimbe, here working now. He's a new party member, and he's here. He's working between Philadelphia and New York, and he's here in the region and helping to build in those particular cities actually. So he's been a great force since he's been here, and I love working with him and looking forward to building. I know he can do it, because we definitely need to build build a good and Pino presence here.
Wow.
Another thing I'm doing,
We're gonna have to move it, comrade, y'all. We got 5 minutes. We really push it. So,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so in Philly right now, we're working on building hubs here in Philly, which came out of the South Congress, and so a lot of training that's that's taking place right now. The One Africa, One Nation Marketplace, and also being trained on the Into You Brigade, which is going to be very helpful in building volunteers in terms of trying to.
We got to go, comrade, y'all. We really appreciate it, but we're gonna have to make this presentation much more succinct. And there's a lot of fluff in the presentation. We just want to go ahead and, get the essence of it done. I want to appreciate that, and we have to go. It's yesterday and Anmo. Uhuru, thank you so much, comrade, y'all.
You're welcome.
Uhuru.
Can you hear me?
Yes, comrade.
Okay, sorry. So this is Uhuru Comrades, Uhuru everybody who are in the party, and just really appreciate this meeting. I'm the president of the African National Women's Organization, and the primary campaign of the organization is the Arrest CPS, or Arrest Child Protective Services campaign, that is headed by Malika Alexander, who is currently residing in Memphis, Tennessee, and will be taking this campaign out to different regions within the party in the United States. And it might it will look different in Africa based on some of the differences in terms of the Child Protective Services. But we've been working on that, and we're due to launch our first webinar on June 24th, which will be on Facebook, and it will highlight some women and men who have been impacted by Child Protective Services. And we're going to be bringing this to our region. So myself, Gaida, who's also in the IEC, and is based in the southern region of the United States, and also Malika, who's in the south, well, now she's in the southern region, but she's representing the Midwest region. We'll be showing all the comrades here how to take this campaign out, whether there's an animal branch in your area or not. We have propaganda that we would like you to share right now. Black Power 96 FM in St. Petersburg, Florida is broadcasting the Know Your Rights piece that we produced for the Arrest CPS campaign. We have a branch in Cameroon, Africa, and we're working with those comrades to build Cameroon so that we could bring in more to really, strategize around the conflict that's happening there. But we are working on that right now. And our economic development project, the Colonnades, we are at a point now where we have a marketing committee, and we are working on how to bring more people into this work with annual workshops, which will allow for other people to participate in helping to bring the Colonnades to your area, and also help to make the actual product. So we're looking forward to all of these developments expanding, and appreciate all the comrades and your help in, putting ANWO out there with these different strategies.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you so much. That was right on time. Now we can move to the southern region in Kobina, Bantu Shango. Are you there, comrade?
The shadow.
It's Kobina, Bantu Shango, the regional rep. We have right now in economic development, we are in two trainings. One just coming to an end for really making, following the political report and making the southern regional hubs economic and political hubs, and realize that the economic and politics are one. So we are in two trains. One is the Hulu Pies, that we want to bring Hulu Pies to Huntsville, Alabama, to create economic development for the region this Thanksgiving and Christmas 2019. We just came to the ending of a training. We'll be following up with some consultations with the dynamic training to really help equip, us to be able to carry out the Hulu Pies. We're in the process now of building a committee that will take that on in a real way. So we're gonna have a meeting the 18th to consolidate this committee to carry out the Hulu Pies for the Thanksgiving. We're also in a training with our ODC, which is the marketplace training to bring One Africa, One Nation marketplace. That will be 2020. We're looking at building our first marketplace April 2020, but we're getting the training now as we speak. We also, in order to try to generate the necessary resources for the startup capital for Hulu Pies and to make sure that we get everything that we need in order to meet the budget to start out. We have one initiative that we did like Freedom Line t-shirts. Our first t-shirt we had at the ALD with this fight for freedom, and we selling those things for $20 where, we help to generate resources for the southern region to carry out some of the tasks, and more importantly, to be able to get us to that startup capital that we need to make a whole prize happen. There will be other fundraisers that's coming, as well as other t-shirts to try to generate some of the resources. One of the things that we're trying to do and trying to do out the region is increase the spear sales. We have the spear in, we just recently got the spear the last one into Pan African Bookstore in Dallas, Texas, that they purchased a spear and will begin to carry the spear for us. Want to get it in more stores like that, especially in the area that we're not in, because it gives us the end to go in and give us connected on the ground. We don't want to settle for it being in the store. We want to be able to get organizers on the ground to be able to sell the spear directly to the people, to get contacts and be able to do those things. But that's one location that is new in the southern region, along with, and we have the spear in stores in like Huntsville. We have it in LA and a barbershop called Bama Cut, Tennessee. We got Barber Kings and African Palace in Memphis. And in Georgia, we have an African bookstore that we have to follow up with that to make sure that they continue to carry the spear. And we have organizers right now. There was a brother in Memphis that was murdered by police, and the people began to rise up after the murder of Brandon Weber, 20-year-old young brother that was respected in the community, and the community rose up with the slogan, fight the police back. They threw bricks and harmed 36 police officers in Memphis and pushed the police back. And we went in, me and another organizer, Kundai, who's in the southern region, went into Memphis on Friday and was able to make connection with the family and people in the community to be able to help sum up and have an article that we have to put in the spear to really sum up who this African is and put the blame on the murder of police and redirect that narrative. The people receive us well, as we have to be able to build a greater capacity on our committee to be able to have organizers going, deploy organizers at different places where they can stay on the ground in order to really get the traction necessary to build the party, building freedom and our mass organization in other places. So that's one of our goals, and have to be traveling through the region more frequently, and we're in the process of having the economic strategy to make those things happen so we can send myself or other organizers throughout the region. We're definitely going to be coming in the same feet behind to support the Q-Head campaign. We want to really organize the region to do whatever necessary to help booster campaigns to help raise resources, as well as for organizing the interfaith fee to make sure that we can contribute to Keeley winning this campaign and making the South Side black. So those are just a snippet of some things going on. There's other things going on. New Orleans, unanimous is not enough. We're still in contact with Belinda Parker Brown. Want to get into New Orleans and do some things. They're trying to get some traction in New Orleans as well. But these are some of the things that's happening and some of the things that can do. And within the next 4 or 5 months. So,
Well, thank you, Comrade. Some of you may have noticed I'm grimacing and making faces. I'm getting directions from behind the camera here and telling me the time's up, etc. So I thank you so much for that report. And now what we do is Comrade Tafari, is he on the phone?
No,
Or he's just on
He's
YouTube.
watching, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that Comrade Tafari, we talked about you a lot, Comrade Tafari, and I want to go now to the Western region. We have a new interim regional committee that has been established in the West Coast, much needed, and Comrade Bakri Olatunji will be reporting now. Bakri, you have 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Comrades, I want to first of all salute the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party for bringing us theory and organization and making people best sons in South Africa. We wouldn't be having this discussion, so I really wanted to say that. As the chairman just said, we were just newly formed interim committee for the Western region. We'll be reporting to the office of the chair on a monthly basis. Our plan, we have not met yet. We just were formed last week. But I just wanted to say that as myself as the interim regional rep, Jasam Khan will be from San Diego. We represent San Diego. Israel Ben will be economic development from Portland, Oregon. Demetrius Cooper, membership and recruitment from Seattle, Washington. Olivia Kilgore, secretary, project director from Portland, Oregon. And Sayali Moyenda, agitation and propaganda from Oakland. And what we're working on the COA now, but I can say that we don't have to recreate the wheel. We have institutions in Oakland with Uhuru Foods and Pies and with Uhuru Furniture. We have the Uhuru House as an economic hub in the African communities. We are already selling products like the Colonnades and Enzo at the furniture store. And we want to really build the five Black power and be an integral part of things. We have Uhuru Foods and Pies here in Oakland. That is going to be, I think, an anchor in terms of building throughout the region moving forward. Now that we have a regional committee, we are going to be doing at the end of this month, Pride Festival, which is a really huge mobilization to go do 2 food booths there. It's about 500,000 people are there every year. We go there with intentions of really bringing people from the region to raise resources for the party. And this August, the first weekend of August, we're going to have the national leadership. The chairman and DC owner is going to be here for the 30th anniversary of the Uhuru Furniture Store here in Oakland. We really want to make this a big to-do, so I'm calling on comrades in the region now to mark the calendar for the first week of August. Bring yourself and bring other comrades here into Oakland. And we also have Martin Soul Weekend, which is the last weekend in July before the 30th anniversary. So we have lots of work on the ground. We want to bring people into this process. We want to deepen the work that's already going on out here on the West Coast. And I just really wanted to welcome the comrades in the new interim committee from the West Side. Uhuru.
Uhuru, Comrade, thank you so much. Thank you for that report. That was Bakri Olatunji. Bakri, by the way, is the comrade who called me early in the morning with the murder, to tell me about the murder of Huey P. Newton. Bakri was a nurse working at Highland Hospital at the time, and me, Bakri, the police, and the people at the hospital were, I guess, the first people who knew about Huey's death. So we go now to a Midwest report from the Midwest, and I want to at the last report, I wanted to be from Comrade Alex Morley from the Bahamas. So let's go ahead and get a quick report, 15 minutes from Comrade, 5 minutes from Comrade Shipabu Waparima from the Midwest, who's I think in Kansas City now. Uhuru. Are you speaking? If you are, you're on mute, Sister Shipabu. Okay, we'll come back to you. We go first now, then to Comrade Onizene Shatelo, Office of the Deputy Chair. We come back to Comrade Shipabu. Uhuru, Comrade Ona.
Uhuru, comrades, I just really want to appreciate the chairman and that dynamic overview and all the reports that have just been put out around our movement. I want to really recognize and salute the amazing comrades in the Office of the Deputy Chair who continue to put it down, you know, just in developing and sustaining all our economic institutions. I want to shout out Sarah out of St. Louis, Tiffany out of Philly, Barkley out of Oakland, and Zay out of St. Louis, Israel out of Portland, Abdullah out of Springfield, Bialy out of Oakland, Ken Gobi out of Maryland, Janice Bryant out of Philly, Ali Utley out of Philly, and also myself. So I just
sound like everybody got their parties in there, but go ahead. Not yet. Go ahead, comrade. You're using up your 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm trying to, but you keep interrupting.
That's prerogative of the chair.
First thing I want to say is that everybody should know about Uhuru Wabisi by now. Should have met with, hopefully you've met with your department leaders and have initiated the process for raising the $2,000 for your department. The first phase begins, we kick it off on July 1st, where you have to raise your $1,000 by October 31st, and then the second phase is from October 31st till March of 2020, and then we will kick off live the Uhuru Wabisi Bank. And I just want to also recognize the steering committee for on that committee, which is Aisha Fields, Akile, Akenge, and Zayi, Walia, and Connor McGuire out of USM. I want to recognize the comrades, and also, you know, everybody's talking about the NTU volunteer brigade, who is led by Jashar Masimba, who is a master at putting together processes and putting forth a program that's going to help build us out. You know, winning volunteers to every department and organization, along with Comrade Abdullah Alexander, who is also on that committee, who is making all the work happen with building a campaign. We have Hulu and Pies that Barkley just spoke of, led by Dexter, Barkley, and Bialy, who is doing the training for the Southern region and Midwest region leaders, and came to the regions that are building the regional hubs. So I just really want to shout out that. And also the whole section of the Buy Black Power campaign, which is led by Comrade Janice Bryan and Ali Utley out of Philadelphia. We've completed all the branding. We've in the process of really putting out the political line and making it resonate out in the world. The Buy Black Power directory is being consolidated. We have products in our furniture stores, as you've already heard, Uzi and will be SI products and plant products. Also, it's official that now that the Northern Region is going to be led by Nana Yaz, taking over the One Africa, One Nation Marketplace in Philadelphia. That training process is going to begin this month with Tiffany Murphy, who has led markets for the past 4 to 5 years. She's going to be involved in leading the training as well. Also, Comrade Israel Penn will be building the One Africa, One Nation Marketplace in Portland. And then I bring you to the One Africa, One Nation, the African One Billion Strong Donor campaign, who has comrades in Zayi and Israel being a part of that dynamic campaign, to build the donor campaign, and also to bring Africans in this process. Is, you know, well understood, one of the oldest institutions in the party, and we want Africans to donate to our own liberation as well. So there's going to be POA developed to help make that happen. So I'm really excited about that. Like our blueprint is kicking ass of moving class. Our committee meeting every Thursday. Our next meeting is June 20th. We have demolished, finished demolishing the buildings on West Florissant and College. And our goal there is to bring a community of Black Power community basketball court on that property. We went live on last Thursday to, talk about the news and also to show people, the demolishing of property. We are also have blueprints that were finalized for the one after one in the marketplace right next to the horror house. It's going to be a beautiful venue, outside venue, and community garden. Also, we're going to be figuring out, we just got a new brochure for the Black Power Blueprint. So if you're in need in your organization, let us know. We'll send you some of those brochures, and we're going to also be laying out the newsletter that has not been out this year for the African Ability Stone Donor Campaign. The site industries and ATF hosting our first neighborhood yard sale, honoring Marcus Garvey's birthday on August 17th. We will also be selling the red, black, and green flag, house flag with codes. So if you want to take this out to the community, it's it's going to be on for weeks.
Okay.
And we want the flags to be flying on every house and every building in our community. So if you want flags, contact my office and we will get them to you. And as it was mentioned, the furniture store is celebrating the 50th anniversary on July 20th and 21st in Philly, and in Oakland on August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So we want everybody to come out and support this. This is very historic, and we want everybody to be able to come out and enjoy, what the movement is doing.
Comrade. Good. Thank you so much for that report. And who's up now? We go back at Chicago. Are you ready? 5 minutes, please. Is she there?
On the app. Go to the next one.
Okay, then Comrade Aisha Fields and AppDep. 5 minutes.
We're Chairman.
Uhuru.
Uhuru, comrades. Yeah, I want to appreciate this meeting and just to give a brief report on AppDep. Right now, the primary clinic that AppDep is operating is in Huntsville, Alabama. Although we do have a program in Houston, Texas, which is our community garden here. But primarily our work is happening in Huntsville, Alabama, where I'm based. Our main work is really continuing to build Zimberley consignment, which is going on our 3-year anniversary this August. And Zimberley is AppDep center for AppDep. So people connect with our programs locally, a place for people to participate in a number of, political and social and cultural workshops that the store and AppDep hosts. And so some of the work right now that we're doing locally at AppDep that the store is contributing to we have a community garden in a neighborhood across the street from our store. We have a Marcus Garvey Youth Program, which offers African children programs around African language, politics, history, African culture, and also provides a curriculum that gives concrete, hard skills to African children on things like how to grow your own food, how to can your own vegetables, how to, we just did one most recently on children's first aid and CPR. It is as a way to really organize African parents and to provide, the ability for African children to see a space for themselves in the Uhuru movement. We also organize healthcare programs through the delay. One of the things that we're working on right now, we just initiated it last Sunday, is a 4-week, course, the diabetes prevention and management course. We just initiated that last Sunday. Really great program. We're having our second installment of that program today, where we're gonna have a plant-based cooking class, that also shows, people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, interesting plant-based meals that they can make, that can help, our people to not only manage their diabetes, but hopefully get diabetes out of their lives. So these are the kind of programs that the store has been organizing, the Aptus has been organizing on the ground, and that we are really using the store to develop a wide base of support for the Uhuru Movement African People's Socialist Party in Huntsville. And we're looking to hopefully, in this next period, really look at rebuilding the international leadership for Aptus so that we can expand beyond the work that's happening in Huntsville. But that's what I can report on right now.
Thank you, Comrade. Thank you so much. And so we'll move now. Is Comrade Shipabu back? Is she?
Shipabu, are you there?
Okay, so we'll move at the report from Agipop now.
Oh,
Hold on. So what do we have?
Are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I want to start off by just appreciating the overview by SQ Lacey on the charter presentation. The regional committee is myself, Taylor, Kabula, and Kumba, and I really want to salute them for the hard work that they've been doing, especially Army, and our next home twins. From these spirit studies, we've collected several contacts that actually have expressed interest in not yet joining, but they want to participate in volunteering, and so they'll be implemented on this coming spirit rally. They'll help build and plan it, and hopefully win them to Antietam by engaging in the work that way. I also want to mention that our regional spirit agent, Kumba, is following the blueprint carried out by Chicago forces and will be holding his first spirit study there in St. Louis at the Julius Davis Library, I believe is the name, and I have to get that date. The Midwest is really internalized that the political and the economic are one. And in light of all these things, especially with things that are happening in the party, with Uhuru Wabenki, Chile's campaign, the chairman's security, we understand the need for the Midwest to have resources. And so we will be unveiling our project, which we have titled Multiply with the Midwest. And the party leadership will be getting an official HTML that will hit you all inbox tomorrow morning. This project is basically, we understand that we have the need for propaganda and flyers and things like that throughout the party and the party's organization. And so the Midwest now has the means to print propaganda, brochures, bookmarks, business cards, things like that to the party and the organization. We were actually hired by Antietam's executive committee. They gave us our first job, and we actually are finishing up with their membership materials. And it was a huge job, over 10,000 pages that we were able to complete for them. So, I want to put that out there, that we'll be using that money that we get from this project to make sure that we have our stake in the lending bank, and also the seed money that we'll need to bring Uhuru Foods and Pies to St. Louis. I also want to touch on the fact that we are finishing, we're nearing completion of our training for Uhuru Foods and Pies, and we'll be actually implementing this and being on the ground in St. Louis. So we'll have pies in the Midwest this coming pie season. I was going to have Comrade Taylor talk a little bit about that because she's leading up that project as regional pie coordinator. So I don't know if she's on the call right now, if we have enough time to do that. But she was going to say a few things about that.
She's on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh,
I called in, but I just want to check our time.
You got a minute. You have a minute.
Okay, so yeah, I heard we were able to successfully complete the first stage of the pie training. We need to update a couple of our documents just to make sure that they completely reflect all of the actual physical work we'll be doing. We were able to, complete the training, so far, and we'll, like Chicago said, we're gonna be going to St. Louis, for like hands-on training, and then, we'll be able to then turn around and train people, hopefully the people that are coming to our here study, and like get them more invested into the party by way of, like a material project that they can help, work on.
Well, hold on. Thank you so much. And now we move forward with the report from Agitprop and Carmen Akili.
Avuro. So in terms of Agitprop and the membership within the department, we have Olafin as the managing editor for the Spear, Temba as station manager for Black Car 96, Raquel as administrative assistant in Black Car 96, Vince Lawrence out in Fort Myers, he works on the Burning Spear staff, and then we have Sandy and Lisa from APSC that play really big roles in Agitprop as well. And based on the fact that I'm running for office in St. Pete, and that pretty much consuming majority of my time, we just established a Troika leadership body to be able to carry out the work of the institutions and continue to build the department. And so, Olafin has assumed really big responsibility and just taking the whole Spear, all of the work of it, including distribution, and Timba and Raquel in the radio station, and Vince also playing a role in.
Please mute, comrades. Please mute.
And Vince, and also trying to, establish a way for Vince to be, promoted within the Spear staff.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at now, and we formed a committee that the Army of Propagandists, which is focusing on recruitment into the department. And right now we're really focusing on implementing this NTU process that's coming out of the Office of Deputy Chair. So that's been some of our biggest work. And the Black Car 96 is, gearing up for their July member fund drive to raise $7,000. And then in August, the Burning Spear is getting ready for.
Comrade, please mute. We're hearing all your business. Please mute, comrades. Okay, I guess that's telling me.
And then the Spear is getting ready for Black August, which is the Spear's fundraising drive. So, and some of the other projects have been discussed. We're working with, Uhuru Wabinki now, and again, mentioned into you. So just in these various different things. And it's not the most adequate report, but these comrades are working really hard to hold Agitprop while we are engaged in this very important campaign in St. Pete. And these forces, most of them are in St. Pete, so they also play really big roles in the local party work that happens here. So,
thank you for that. And we're going to move next to Comrade Alex. But before doing that, I just want to say that we didn't have a place on the agenda to talk about this incredible campaign, electoral campaign that we're involved in right now. And Comrade Akili did mention the fact that she's running for city council, and Comrade Ann Hirsch from the APSC, Uhuru Solidarity Movement, is also running for city council. They're running under the theme of first anti-gentrification theme, Make the South Side Black Again, and a pro-reparations theme of unity through reparations. An incredibly significant campaign, and everybody in the party needs to be connected to this process, be aware of it, that it's happening, and make whatever contribution we can make to its success. So I want to move now to Comrade Alex Morley from Nassau, Bahamas.
Are you there, Alex?
he was on the YouTube.
I know, I sent him a, as well.
Wow,
He got some
somebody's
message on
involved in something really serious.
It's like a show.
The world. Yes.
Yeah, since you know already, we talk about Europe. If you can allow 5 minutes for Europe, and Patricia can talk about it.
Okay, we'll do 5 minutes. Is Alex there? Let's do 5 minutes for Europe. If Alex is on, we'll do 5 minutes for Alex. Let's go ahead, Comrade Patricia. Let's do Europe.
I'll see if I can do it less than 5. Thank you, comrade.
Okay.
So we've got the Burning Spear that was launched, and our goal is to produce 6 bilingual spears in the next 12 months. So the spear we want to come out
in time for a major community meeting we've got on the 29th of June. So we'll be in touch with Agitprop, the Kile and conference there tomorrow to see, that everything can be done so we can have the biosphere, in the next 2 weeks. So I mentioned the meeting we've got in 2 weeks. That's on the 29th of June. The APSP and the Patrice Lumumba Coalition are holding a meeting on the struggle for democracy and national liberation in DR Congo. So keynote speaker there is Jesse Wavy, and we'll also have Ngoli Kai. Also like an eyewitness account. There's lots of interest for this meeting, from even past supporters that we haven't seen in 13 years, coming back and have solidarity messages as well. Membership, we've had expressed interest in joining since we had the last party-wide meeting, and they're going through various stages of it. One of them, Comrade Adwa, she has just joined the party the last couple of days, and she's on the call, so I just want to say to Adwa, and welcome to the party. Development. So we're looking to launch the Economic Development Committee after the 29th. So it'll be by September anyway, because we have items that we can sell. We've got ideas, so it's really the POA. Justice for Kushinda. We've just started an AMWO subcommittee, Justice for Kushinda. She's at risk of eviction. And there are 2 key dates we're working to. The 10th of July court case, and the 20th of July we have a community meeting. We've got 4 supporters who are on that committee. The whole issue around there is gentrification. So we're looking to make sure that we have monthly updates on what's happening and articles in the Sphere, etc. I'll just whiz through then on outreach. So we have each week, Comrade Secretary General does a prayer aimed at the Congolese community. So the views there around the 1,000 live views, so that has gained traction. And just a few weeks ago, in fact, this week will be the 15th week, Start France, which is another session in French. And that's also gained traction from a handful to now more than 250 who listen live. We've also noticed that France, the Pan-Africanist organisations, are now following, well, not now, they've been following us for a while, but now that we're online, following us more closely, and now having they're now doing online meetings on a Friday as well. For Sphere sales, we're done with the party school in September or October. And then lastly, I know I've left something off, but anyway, ALD, get ready for that 2020, the ALD in Paris. And we're looking to, we're going to start the planning committee for that. And on Sphere sales, we sold 500. So we have, basically we're ready for the, for the next Sphere to come out. I've got as quickly as I could. I hope that's all right.
Thank you so much, comrade. We didn't get Alex. So what we do now is we move to deal with discussion, questions, and answers. Who is that? Just come on. Uhuru, who is this?
Oh, no, that's from Cindy. I was going to get over from another call.
Okay, yeah. So we go to announcements now. That is. I thought it was Q&A and then announcements. That's what mine. Okay, we can go to announcements. Let's make announcements, please. I know that people should be aware. Black is Back Coalition Conference, annual conference is happening on August 10th and 11th in St. Louis at the Uhura House there, 4101 West Florissant, and possibly on the day before that, which is the 5th anniversary of the murder of Mike Brown. The coalition will be sponsoring a mobilization that will either begin or end Cancer Drive, where Mike Brown was killed. And then, of course, there's the NPW convention that's happening in September. I'm saying these things. We should be putting it on your calendar and looking at possibilities of getting to places now.
November.
Go ahead.
Okay, November the
Yeah.
Black is Back annual, march and rally on the White House.
Yes. So those are some of the things. Well, what other announcements do we have?
Well, on,
PA, I'm trying to write them down for the announcement here. You said November the 12th and 13th. Is that what you said?
I don't know.
I didn't say the date, but I said that in November is the annual march and rally, but we will make sure that although people should have some of these things, okay.
All right. Go ahead, come in.
And just for the electoral campaigns, because Chairman put it out, this is really important, the kind of work that we're doing, and it's just going to make a really huge impact on even the discussion that's happening nationally. And so whatever support that anybody can lend, the elections are on August 27th, but we intend to make it past the primary, and the general is in November. So at any time between now and November that you can get down here and get boots on the ground and help us, build this campaign. We would very much appreciate it. Any contributions that you can make, go to voteakile.com or votehirsch.com. And we have an important webinar with the chairman on Wednesday, June 19th at 7 p.m. So please, everybody tune into that live stream where the theme is it's bigger than St. Pete, reparations on the ballot.
I think that even though we plan to get on go to the general election, people should anticipate getting here for this primary. I mean, should really get some thought to being able, and we'll be getting more information from the campaign on what's going to be the most important date in terms of mobilization for people to be here. And also, you don't have to be here, everybody, in order to participate. You can make phone calls and what have you from wherever you are. So please anticipate participating in this campaign. So now we can go to questions and answers.
Briefly.
Briefly.
Uhuru.
Yeah.
Uhuru, this is David and Norm. I don't have a Q&A, but I just wanted to interject around, first appreciate the meeting and the new comrades for being in the meeting and speak to the sponsorship process that ODC developed. We were talking about building the party, but I just want to say in this meeting that it's going to be important for all of the leadership and the new comrades coming into the party to go through that sponsorship process and make sure that it's being carried out. And those monthly sponsorship reports that come to the office are going to be called for every single month. So people should be completing the document and that report that's in there and sending it to the office. And the new forces should be attending the O'Malley Taught Me Sunday study as part of the political education, part of that sponsorship process on Sunday. So please make sure that new forces are attending those Sunday studies for political development. Yeah, that's all I have.
Good. So, comrades, questions from anybody? Uhuru. Yes.
Okay, this is Zaida, and I have like 3 things that I wanted to raise.
Okay.
One was the Marcus Garvey cruise. Is there an alternative yet? With the Cuba restrictions, is there an alternative to that yet?
Yes, and you'll have the information by tomorrow.
Okay. The other one is for the Louisiana Pat. I heard, did I hear you correct when you said that Crescendo was being evicted?
Yes, that's what they said.
So, eviction, yeah. Yeah, because I was looking at there's a housing struggle that's going on there now. I think it's based on some people that lost children and family members in that big fire that they had in those project areas. And I was wondering if you guys thought about connection to that struggle. They had marches and demonstrations and stuff.
Uhuru, was coming down to her? Yeah.
Thinking. Yeah, I did hear you. I'm thinking. So that's to do with the Grenfell, the fire that happened 2 years ago. So the anniversary was yesterday. Other than one of our supporters has been on it, and we've actually got an article on that, but we haven't really been in contact with them, so that's something we could think about.
Yeah, that was a big demonstration, and I think it's about housing and how the cities conduct some housing. I think maybe it would be good for us to connect to that.
It was about them not housing the victims of the fire have not been housed 2 years on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was condemning the city approach to that whole question of housing.
Yeah.
I think it could be broad.
Yeah. Okay.
The last thing, thank you.
No.
Yeah, I also want to commend Louisiana and Chairman. I thought it was really informative in terms of that come up. It was really on time. I wanted to say something about building a mass organization. And I know that during my history in the party, Chairman always spoke about at some point when the struggle intensifies, how significant it's going to be for the mass organizations to be in place because the party will have to go underground. And I think we're looking at a period, that is preceding that, in my opinion. And I just want us to learn better how to utilize the mass organization, how to build them, and how to also, look out for the other mass organizations, because a lot of times there are going to be forces that can't come in directly to our organization, but they have special interests, and we should be thinking about how we can move those forces so that nothing falls through the cracks, that we use those forces in the different areas, like we have to come up against forces that want to, that when they describe what they want to do, they're fitting for ourselves, we want to, send them over to ourselves. I think that we need to practice that a lot more, because it's not only NC Dom that's going to be like a conduit to the party, which I really and truly believe in, that most of the people that are coming in should come through those mass organizations. But we have to let every other mass organization, understand that their responsibility is to do the same thing that NC Dom is doing, to look at their people. There are a lot of potential there, and then we get them into the party, because it's our responsibility also. So that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you, Comrade Gaida.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else? Comments? We have a few more minutes only, so we really want to see what. Is that it?
Uhuru, I'll just jump in, Chairman, if that's all right. Just to remind people about the 29th of June, the Congo meeting, but also do a demonstration on the 3rd of July, because it'll be a month after the killings that took place in Sudan. I know it's mentioned in PE today about Sudan.
Right.
That's what we want to run.
Splendid. So before we get off, I wanted to see if Comrade, I'm looking at some of the comrades who I haven't heard from a while, or directly anyway. I know that comrades Israel and Olivia. Olivia, are you there? Do you have anything? Comrade Raquel. Uhuru, you got anything you want to raise or say, Comrade Raquel?
No, I don't have anything. As far as this election that's coming up, there's a lot of groundwork that's being done, and we're continuing on doing. That's about it.
That's about it. Okay.
Uhuru,
Q&As.
Uhuru, Chairman, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Columbine, go ahead.
Oh, real quick, I just wanted to say that I was going to add to my report that it was 3 comrades that I was looking at into bringing into the party to know to Norm.
Right.
One was Westbrook, so law enforcement here in St. Louis, like Westbrook been in the work. He was really a mass force, but I had a conversation with him, and he really, wants to be in the party, and so he's the local president here, and he's been really fighting for that. So looking to bring him in by July. And Michael Odom, he's out of San Diego, and he's working in African short genocide, primarily in the building of the convention of the turn up. And he's been around the work for a long time. He's a professor, and he's read all Chairman's books, and he's really want to come into the party. And then Megan out of St. Louis is another a recruit. So I just wanted to say that.
So Deputy Chair, I know that I interrupted you, the end of this thing. Was there something pressing that you wanted to say before we shut it down?
No, I just really appreciate the meeting and just, wanting people to really, get involved in the Fight Power Blueprint. And, we'll be initiating the red, black, and green flag, house flag that we want people to purchase and place on their house, as liberated territories, and, trying to protect, us from gentrification, not just in St. Louis, but in every place that we are. So, yeah, that's it.
Sure. I wanted to just unite the flag, because if the flags are ubiquitous, if they're all over, they affect the consciousness of African people and even spark a sense of fighting back against the kind of interlopers that we see pushing us out of our communities and everything. It's really interesting. If you go to any city, in this country, and where African people are either threatening to move in, or you see the American flag start popping up all over these white communities, etc. And I think it's really important for that red, black, and green to be everywhere, to be ubiquitous. And I'm saying that not just in the United States, but I think it's true everywhere, because Garvey understood more than anything that we need one flag, and red, black, and green was that flag, and it was not something that we chose like ourselves. The Africans voted on that and said that that was going to be our flag. And he talked about we have no freedom when the red, black, and green flies from the hilltops of Africa, and I think that's absolutely true. So this has been a really important meeting, and Commander Kinge within the next day or so will remind us of when these meetings are supposed to happen, because they need to happen with regularity. It's just really important for people to have a sense of connection with the party, to have a sense of what the hell is going on within the party. And it's a way also that we achieve a kind of connection with people who are in our organization. We get to know them or experience them a certain way. Also, the comrades who are participating on YouTube, I just wanted to send a shout out to you. I know you couldn't participate by phone in the same fashion that others have done. We are moving now here in St. Petersburg, Florida, with the next several minutes to local mass meeting. And so just want to express appreciation to everybody being here, and to remember that you are members of the African People's Socialist Party. And that is something that we should hold really dear to us, and recognize our significance as a political force and as leaders of the struggle to liberate our people, our Africa, our nation. Uhuru, Vanguard up.
Vanguard up, Uhuru.
Vanguard up.